Hey lovelies, you're welcome back to Reviews and Recaps. So it looks like Sweet Tea is no longer coming back to Married to Medicine. What it's given is that she was fired, and I'll tell you why I say that in a second. I do also want to talk about Angela calling Porsha a whore. We're going to get into it in a second, but please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Hit that like button as you guys come in. Hit that share button as well, because who knows, my audience may be your friend. Now let's get into today's video. So I was minding my business and on the neighborhood talk saw that Sweet Tea is leaving Married to Medicine. Now, what she said is making me feel like she was fired, or at least her contract wasn't renewed, and I say that because it was like there was a fan comment that she was reading, right? So she's like, the person basically said they were glad that she's not coming back to Married to Medicine, and they feel like the way everything worked out was foul. And she was like, yeah, it definitely was, and that it's something where she would leave her fans to figure it out on their own, but she's not a quitter and she would never run away from anybody. And she just thinks like, the platform is what it was. That is what made me feel like this lady was fired, in my opinion. Now, there's of course no way of proving this. This is just my personal opinion. I just think if someone is saying that they're not a quitter, that means they're basically saying to you that naturally I would not leave unless I was sort of pushed out or forced to leave. And so that's why I think it's a firation kind of thing. Now, I will leave the audio, so I'm not going to put the video, but I'm going to leave the audio for you guys, just a little snippet of the audio so you guys can listen for yourself and hear what she says. So let me play it for you guys now so you guys can listen and hear what she says. Then we'll come back and talk about Miss Angela Honey.
I'm glad you're not coming back to Married to Medicine. I didn't like how it worked out. It was foul. I mean, it definitely was foul. And I'm just going to say, I haven't really talked a lot about this, but, I really wanted to leave it to my fans to figure out like what was going on, because know that I'm not a quitter. Never ever been a quitter. And I ain't never ran away from anybody. So just putting that out there, but it just is what it is. And I think that there are better things in store for me. I think that platform was what it was for me at the moment. And I think that God has something better and I'm going down the right path. So that's all.
Angela had an interview with Dish Nation, right? And so they were asking her, what do you think prompted Porsha to say what she said? And Angela was like, yeah, that's what whores do. I'm like, okay, so it's got into the horror moment. Okay. She said that was her immediate reaction. It doesn't matter who said it. It's just whorish activities. And that was her initial reaction. Now, she does throw a bit of shade and she says, and Porsha said she was drunk on a lot of alcohol and that she was playing, but she does not play with her friends like that. And I agree with everything Angela is saying. Porsha, no matter what, there are certain jokes that are just inappropriate. There is no reason for you to take it there. Now, I feel like the context in which she is saying it is not the way in which it was said. This is just my personal opinion. I feel like it was more something like, if Angela doesn't stop what she's doing or something, I should F Charles. This is my perspective on what I think was said. I don't think it was a malicious thing like, oh, I'm a smash Charles. I think it's sort of said in a, like, if you don't that, I should do this, or if you don't stop, I should say that, or I should do that, like, as opposed to an intentional, I'm gonna do this because of this. So this is just my personal opinion. That's how I feel. But is it right? Absolutely not. So I'm not even like sweating the fact that Angela is dragging her for it. If I were in Angela's shoes, I would drag her to the moon and back for that statement, especially because Porsha didn't really own it as well. She was blaming it on the any. Like, girl, no, we're too grown to be out here blaming it on alcohol. You're going to need to own up to what you said and said. I felt some type of way because you were talking about my husband. And so I said, if you don't stop, I should. Boom. And that's that. So stand in your ish, right? So I don't really believe in like, even if you're wrong, like you can take accountability, but don't start denying ish that you did because it just looks weird. That's not OG behavior in my opinion. Like, girl, you got to bring it this season. I love your YouTube channel, honey. I love me some Porsha, but girl, I need the YouTube version of you to be on the new season of Real Housewives of Atlanta, but I don't think we're going to get it. Now, back to Miss Angela. Angela was talking about when she had a conversation with Charles about it. Apparently, Charles was not feeling it. Nobody's surprised. And basically went off on Porsha. And basically said she needs to keep his name out of her mouth because she does not know him at all, okay? So, sounds like Charles is not here for the shenanigans. And I don't blame him. Let's be honest. Like, if we were Charles, we will feel some type of way. If somebody random that we don't even know from a can of pain is out here talking about us and acting like they can just smash at any given opportunity. So, I get it. Totally get it. Now, she does say that her husband is not accessible to Porsha. Now, I don't know about that, honey. I feel like everybody is accessible to everybody on this internet. Like, sometimes you be thinking, like, I ain't never gonna see anybody again or certain people ever. Like, I'll give you an example. There's someone that we follow each other on Instagram. We would just, like, communicate here and there on Instagram. Turns out there was a time I was on holiday in Thailand. She was on holiday in Thailand. We ended up connecting, linking up, having a good old time in Thailand. Now, we probably may never see again, or we may run into each other in a different country again, right? So these things happen a lot, right? So people are accessible on the internet, honey. You can be following people. Like, I have friends that I met on Instagram, and I'm just like, oh, people that I've never met that live in different countries and we're cool. So it happens, right? So everyone is accessible, honey. This is not the ancient times. People are accessible. Unless you want to tell me he ain't on the internet, then he is accessible. I hate to break it to you, but he is accessible if he's on the internet. Now, that's not to say that Charles will be checking for her. Nothing of that nature. I'm just saying, like, to say that, and I know she's saying it like, oh, they don't run in the same circles and whatnot. But let's be honest, right? Atlanta, you all know each other or know somebody that knows somebody in these communities. So if she wanted to get Charles's contact, she gonna get those contact information, okay? If she does not go through the internet. So I'm just saying he's accessible in my opinion. But that's just like a little slight point. That being said, I do agree with her that it's very disrespectful. It's inappropriate. Like, let's not be saying things like that. It's completely out of line. But I do also think it was made sort of like in jest, like almost like the way Angela is always having Charles on her head. What if da. I get that. Doesn't relieve that responsibility, but I think context is also important because the way things have been peddled, I feel like the context is missing that needs to be included, in my opinion. Angela did also say she honors her husband, her marriage, and her house. So she literally went downstairs to confront Porsha straight away. That is how it should be. Like, you should honor your husband. You should honor your family and your marriage. Absolutely. I guess my question is, does he honor you the way you honor him? Does he root for you and honor your marriage the way you're honoring the marriage? Because it's like one person can't be the one honoring the marriage and then the other person doesn't give a F about the marriage. So it shouldn't be that way. At least let it be that everybody is honoring the marriage, which I hope is what it is. But I honestly don't believe that that is what it is. And I'll tell you why. Because think about it. When something was brought up about the streets and stuff, he was like, oh, do you believe that? Instead of, no, I ain't never done anything. Do you know what I mean? Like, when you have not stepped out and somebody says they heard something about you in the street, you're like, yeah, tell them to bring it. They're never going to be receipts because I never cheated on you. You would have had that energy if you've never stepped out. But then to be asking your wife, so do you believe it? It's almost like you're trying to see what she's on. You're trying to gauge whether, oh, does she believe it? Does she think there's something there? Oh, how am I going to play this a little bit? That's what it is given, right? In my opinion. That's not to say the man is stepping out. This is just what I think sounded a little bit shady to me when I was looking at their interaction. Besides, the way he be acting like he cannot be bothered with you. And he acts like you're doing too much. So I don't think that works either. Besides, he also talks about Tampa. Now, I don't know what else happens in Tampa, but because Drew's husband or ex-husband, because I think they're in the process of divorcing, I don't know if it's final yet, but Drew's husband, ex-husband, whatever, also went to Tampa. And word on the streets was he was in Tampa and you were in Tampa. So I don't know if you guys linked up over there or whatever, or what you lot do in Tampa. Like, is it a hub for something else that we don't know about? Like, that's what I want to know. But nonetheless, Angela is bringing it this season. Even with the interview, she is bringing it. What I will say, though, is it would be nice to get to know her outside of the drama, because I feel like in all of these interviews, I don't feel like I'm getting to know her. I feel like I'm just getting her responses to certain things that have shown up on the screen. Now, of course, I'm sure over time we'll get to know her a little bit more, but I'm looking forward to actually getting to know her a little bit more. That being said, I'm ready for the reunion. Actually, I want to see how Angela and Porsha are going to clock in. I hope Porsha clocks in, because Angela is going to be clocked in, honey. So you better be ready. Maybe have Phaedra write some of your reads. I'm joking. Anyways, please hit that subscribe button, tap that bell button right next to it so you know every single time that I post. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you. Bye.